So this is what the rotor remove looks like from this angle. This is the rear. This is a 2016 Genesis all-wheel drive 3.8 liter V6. This is the third option package that they offered that year. This does not have the 17 speaker. It has 14, I believe, and it does not have the heads-up display, but it has it on a digital gauge cluster, the same information. So if you need to prepare this vehicle, I found a lot of differing information on the internet. I am going to make this the definitive video because I used to be a mechanic in a different time on aircraft. So I'm going to make a specified video of what I've done and what needs to be done to get to this point. First, I took off the wheel. I have the stock wheels. I have four regular lug nuts and one special one. In order to do that, you must make sure you have the correct wheel lock key. They make 12 of these for each different, like you could have a random one. You can't just buy one. Ask me how I know. This is important. Do not lose that. Remove the wheel. Once you remove the wheel, you'll see the rotor will be on. You'll see the brake caliper will be on, and you will see this housing will be below the brake caliper. I made other videos, but I don't know how this is going to shape up in the uploading. So after you remove the wheel, which is step one, you will remove two 14mm bolts from the back of the brake caliper. This one and that one. You will remove that and you will hang that on here in order to not bend the fitting and the line. This is the brake line. It has hydraulic pressure in here with the brake fluid. You do not want to bend this or let it hang or let it dangle. That is step two. Step three, you remove two 17mm bolts from the rear of this assembly right here. I used an open-ended wrench to get them off and a combination with a 17mm wrench right here, and of course a 17mm socket. I would suggest getting a shallow socket because this one barely fits. This is like standard. It's a 3/8 drive. It's a 3/8 drive, by the way, and everything is on hand tight. Okay, so once you remove that, that was step one was the wheel. Two would be to remove this caliper, the 14mm. Three, you can take off the arm. But depending on the torque, if it's too tight to take off, you will remove two screws from the face of the rotor. These have to be removed. These are cross points right here. And where is the, okay, and the screwdriver, what is this? Let's see here now. This is it doesn't say what it is. Is this a P3? This might be a P3 because they get bigger as they get wider. So a P1 is the little tiny one. This is wide, you understand? So make sure you have this tool. You have a 17mm wrench. You have both a 17mm wrench and socket. I have a wrench and a socket. I have a screwdriver right here. So far, these are all the tools that I've needed to remove my brakes. A wrench, two wrenches, a socket. I have an additional socket. Also the wheel lock. Also the arm. I use this for expediting. I use this in addition as well if you can get your hands on one. I have a jack stand as well. What else did I use here? Gloves. In addition, I have zip ties. What else did I have? I have various other things. Oh yes, this is a 22 millimeter socket. This socket is the right size to hold in your wheel lock. So you need a 22 millimeter, and also for the regular bolts, this is a 13/16. You need a 13/16 socket. I'll probably make an addendum or a note at the bottom of the video, however, and specify in an itemized list what you need. Thus far, the reason why I've taken this off is because this brake shield is a part of the parking brake assembly. It's like a dust cover. I mean, it's protecting dust. I don't know. The other one is not warped. There's a rivet on there's two rivets on the back of this. I don't know if it's worth pointing them out, but because you'll know if yours bends like this, look at the back of it. There's rivets. There's two, and one is sheared off on mine at this point. What is this? This is like 7 o'clock, like 6:45 right here. This point right here where my index finger is, you cannot see. I'm pressing on it. There's a sheared rivet. I am about to attempt to fix that without replacing the rivet by using this like steel epoxy on the back of it and see if that works. If not, I will get metal 10 snips likely and just take this thing the fuck off. Okay, in addition, I found this, which appears to be a weight from an old tire that broke up, and that weight has been grinding and ruining this thing since I don't know when. But the point was it would shift, so I wouldn't know exactly what it was. I inspected my brakes various times, but they were all good. This is probably like needs to be replaced. I don't know what that is. Actually, I think this maybe is what needs to be replaced. I'm looking right at this and I'm doing this in real time. It appears as if one of the parking brakes is not here. And that thing was a parking brake. And that needs to be replaced. And the weight is off. The rotation is off. That is what's happening. So there's been various things. This is the first time that I've removed this up until this point. So generally, I am not surprised because I've never seen good videos about what is happening back here. I don't even know how brakes really work, how parking brakes work. I know the concept of how hydraulic back pressure works, so I understand how a brake works, but every car is different. And what I'm looking at here, and with that little pad that I found, it appears to be, no, this is heavier, this is larger than that. That must have been a car weight. I gotta look at the schematic and see what this is, because it seems as though there ought to be two. I don't know, I might be looking at it wrong. No, this is not the same size as that. I don't know what this is, if this is just an opening. I'm gonna look up the schematic. But anyway, I'm making this video because there was a lot of videos that they weren't not helpful. They weren't very descriptive. Obviously you get a chance to look around in here, you know, there's a lot going on. You know, you have your shocks, you got all sorts of crap. I am not a mechanic. I used to be an aircraft mechanic and not on any sort of things that, well, I worked on pumps and stuff. I worked on fuel systems. So I know the dynamics of mechanics, but every vehicle is different based on its assemblage. So look up your schematics. The Genesis, and another reason why is because the Genesis, and I feel like I don't know if this is leaking. It must be because it's wet. But the Genesis has a lot of different variants. You have the coupe 3.8. You have the, at this point in 2022, this platform has been used since 2012 when they had the Equus and the Genesis. I think 2011 that joint came out. And then you had this model vehicle, and then you had the 2020 refresh, and now it's something else. So anyhow, this is a 3.8 liter V6 all-wheel drive, and I'll make a list of all the things that I use. But if you go back in the video, I feel like I did a decent approximation of all the tools that you need. If anyone knows if this needs something, let me know. These are not identical, so it probably doesn't. But it could have been the thing that sheared off that I don't know where the hell it's at. It could be the parking brake. And I don't know where it is. Huh. All right, I'm not trying to waste all my video on this video. I gotta do something else. Here it is now. Here we go.